Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Days Podcast. So I wanted to tell you guys that just recently I had a birthday. I am now 30 years old, yes, and it's a very rewarding feeling. It's very mysterious. Like, I don't feel any different than how I felt in my younger ages, as opposed to what I've learned and what I've been able to do. And I'm just very grateful. I had a great weekend. It is now May 28th. My last video I did with you guys was on Thriller, and it was before I turned 30. So the next video that we're doing today and episode is off of Michael Jackson's Bad album. So resonating with ages, I'm kind of in my Bad era. Like, it's like, okay, y'all know me. Don't act like y'all don't know me. It's like, no, but still, this album, I feel, is it's appreciated, but it could be appreciated a little bit more, because it was like full creative control, even more from Thriller, But yes, I want to talk about this album and check in with you all. And yes, like and subscribe. There is Patreon for Days Podcast, and I will be putting out Patreon videos very soon. I wanted to just make sure you guys had plenty of videos so far to just get to know me and see what we're doing so far in this podcast here, and I'm just very grateful for the growth and just everything that I'm doing so far. So yes, let's get into it. As far as with the Bad album by Michael Jackson, it is his 7th studio album. It was released August 31st, 1987. So, like I said in the last video, kind of peeking into what's to come right now. He was 29, literally. Like, a few days after his birthday, this album dropped. He was 29. And so, now that I can look retrospective at what 29 is like, okay, like, I can actually talk about it. So it's just looking at, what this album incorporates. Pop, rock, funk, R&B, dance, soul, and hard rock styles. New recording technology, including digital synthesizers. So there was things that were, really addressed and really kind of updating over time with music. And Michael was first hands-on with it. Like, listen, I'm the king for a reason, okay? The lyrical themes include media bias, paranoia, racial profiting, romance, self-improvement, and world peace. Now, that's something I feel, by your 30th year, you want to, like, make known, like, I'm not just out here just to be out here. Like, I see what's going on. Here's how I can contribute. Here's what I do. There's a big deal about that. Like, people need to be able to be more active and be more aware of what's going on in the world. Let's see here. I want to be able to see what exactly, let's see. Yeah, so like, digital synthesizer is a synthesizer that uses digital signal processing techniques to make musical sounds. This in contrast to older analog synthesizers, which produce music using analog electronics and samplers. Yeah, like I said, like certain things in technology was growing, and Michael was like right there, like, all right, let's go. It's all in my head. It's all written down. I'm just ready to just put it together in a better space, in a better way. Let's do it. Okay, 9 singles were released, including a record-breaking 5 number ones: I Just Can't Stop Loving You, Bad, The Way You Make Me Feel, Man in the Mirror, and Dirty Diana. Bad was promoted with the film Moonwalker, which included the music videos for several Bad songs. The Bad Tour, Jackson's first solo world tour, grossed $125 million, equivalent to $322 million in 2023, making it the highest grossing solo concert tour of the 1980s. Jackson performed 123 concerts in 15 countries to an audience of 4.4 million. 123 concerts. If you want to let's say this, right? Let's say his concert was maybe 2 hours long. You gotta think about the fact that if it's 2 hours long, 123 times 2, that's 246. Okay? Because we're doing concerts. That's you know, I can't even say it's divided by hours because you got to multiply it, I believe. 123. Even if we was to divide it, let's just see what it is divided by 2. It couldn't be 61 hours. No. That's 123 shows. So that means, yeah, if we gonna take 123 shows and they're each 2 hours long, that would mean there's 246 hours that was done, I believe. Yeah. Because in 15 countries. Yeah, the dividing goes into the 123 where it's concerts, but it's divided by 15 countries. So that's 8 different shows within 15 countries at a time for concerts. Yeah. 8 different times, you know, and then 4.4 million people. Like, you know, okay, so when we're thinking 15 countries, that's, you know, some places may have been twice, is what I'm trying to say. But even with all this math and everything that's going on now with touring, it's just so much. Released nearly 5 years after Jackson's previous album, Thriller, anticipation for Bad was high. In the US, Bad debuted at #1 and sold more than 2.25 million copies in its first week, it reached #1 in 24 other countries, including the UK, where it sold 350,000 copies in its first week, and was the best-selling album of 1987. Bad was the best-selling album worldwide of 1987 and 1988. By 1991, in the midst of releasing Dangerous, it was the second best-selling album of all time, behind Thriller, having sold 25 million copies worldwide. In 2021, it is certified 11 times platinum in the US. It received positive reviews, particularly for Jackson's vocals and the rich, more polished production. It was nominated for 6 Grammys Awards, including Album of the Year, and won Best Engineering Recording, Non-Classical, and Best Music Video for Leave Me Alone. In 1998, Jackson received the first Billboard Spotlight Award in recognition of the record-breaking chart success on the Billboard Hot 100. For the Bad videos and previous videos, Jackson received the MTV Video Vanguard Award. Bad is now seen as a staple of 1980s pop music and an extension of Jackson's influence on pop culture. It has been named by several publications as one of the greatest albums of all time. And in 2012, the album's 25th anniversary, an expanded reissue, Bad 25, and a documentary film, Bad 25, was released. So the singles, you know, I Just Can't Stop Loving You, that came out July 20th. So that was literally a month prior. So people was like, oh my God, he's back and he's singing a ballad? And then when he came out with Bad, literally weeks, like not even a few weeks after the album drops, it's like, okay. New Michael Jackson, it's called Bad. By November, you have The Way You Make Me Feel, so people are like, all right, it's nice and cool outside. And Man in the Mirror by early 1988, January 1988. Dirty Diana was April 1988, April 18th. So yeah, throughout the fall into the summer, he released. And a couple of artists have been doing that even in recent years, where they'll release whether in the spring or in the fall and have the album be, you know, pushed throughout the year, and even give out extra, you know, visuals and songs to go with it. Another Part of Me came out July 11th, 1988, the summer song. Smooth Criminal came out by November of 1988. Leave Me Alone came out February 13th of 1989. And then Liberian Girl came out that summer of 1989, but it was only in the UK. So Leave Me Alone was literally the last single. And we didn't get another Michael Jackson album for another year and a half. Or 2 years. Yeah, 2 years, because it was like 1991, which was dangerous. But the first collaboration producer, hold on. Bad was Jackson's final collaboration with producer Quincy Jones, who had produced Off the Wall and Thriller. After Jackson had written a handful of tracks on Off the Wall and Thriller, Jones encouraged him to write more for his follow-up. Jones recalled, all the turmoil in Jackson's life was starting to mount up, so I thought it was a time for him to do a very honest album. And yes, it was. Jackson wanted to move in a new musical direction with a harder edge and fiercer sound. According to guitarist Steve Stevens, who featured on Bad, Jackson asked about rock bands including Motley Crue. I don't know who that is completely. But he began working on demos in November of 1983 while recording Victory with his brothers. He spent much of 1985 to 1987 writing and recording at his home studio in Los Angeles with a group of musicians and engineers, including Bill Bottrell, known as the B Team. The demos were brought to Westlake Studio to be finished by the A-Team with Jones and engineer Bruce Sweden. Jones said the team would stay up for days on end when they were on a roll. They were carrying second engineers out on stretchers. I was smoking 180 cigarettes a day. Oh my God. They were serious about this album. Jackson was eager to find innovative sounds and was interested in new music technology. Like I said, he was here for all the new technology that was coming out. He was ready. And it was kind of leading into, you know, him saying to himself, you know, what's going on with Sony? They sometimes combine synthesizers to create new sounds. Work was disrupted in July 1984 when Jackson embarked on the Victory Tour with his brothers. So previously, this album was supposed to come out like literally by 85 or a little bit later, before 86. And respectfully, when Janet came out, everyone was like, oh yes, we're really looking for Michael now because his sister is going off. Yes. So it's just like, you know, when he was on the Victory Tour, work resumed in January 1985 after Jackson recorded his contributions to the charity single We Are the World. In mid-1985, work paused again so Jackson could prepare for Disney's 4D film experience, Captain EO, which featured an early version of the Bad song, Another Part of Me. Work resumed in August and continued until November 1986, when Jackson filmed the Bad music video. Recording resumed in 1987, and the album was completed in July. So, Jackson wrote a reported 60 songs and recorded 30, wanting to release them all on a 3-disc set. Jones suggested that the album would be cut down to a 10-track single LP. Jackson is credited for writing all but 2 songs. Other writing credits include Terry Britton and Graham Lyle for Just Good Friends and Man in the Mirror. But yes, great album, very great album. So the title of each song, the songs are, let's start from one, Bad, which, you know, it's very much aggressive. It's in your face. It's like, you know, listen, I'm not that one. Don't fuck with me. And the way you make me feel, very serenading, you know, like a girl, guy, whoever you're with, listen, you make me feel good. I'm looking good with them high heels, you know, you just look good. And Speed Demon, that's just something you play when you out. Just Speed Demon, it is just a great song, just a great song. It gets you going. Liberian Girl, very soothing. I heard the extended track. I was like, oh my god, this song good. I love it. And Just Good Friends with Stevie Wonder, you know, he was making some really great tracks. And Another Part of Me, you know, that's side 2. And so, like I said, with, you know, the albums I talked about previously, there was cassette tapes, and I got a few. So when you was done with side 1, you go to side 2. And I actually had this cassette tape, because I remember when Just Good Friends was over, it was like, turn it over, and then Just Another Part of Me came on, and then you got Man in the Mirror, and then, you know, Man in the Mirror is such a big song, because it's like, it's true, like, you want to make sure that when you're looking at yourself, you being a great example and doing the right thing. You don't want to just be out here just doing anything. For what? It's a waste of time, waste of money, waste of air. Okay, like, is anyone talking about climate change still? Is anyone talking about storms that are possibly forming because, you know, everyone can't stop moving around and not helping the earth still? Like, people can't be so selfish. And he wanted people to understand that. Like, don't be selfish. Don't be out here just fucking shit up for no damn reason. Like, that's just weird. That's weird energy. It's not necessary. It's bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just no. Just stop. Literally, stop. As far as I Just Can't Stop Loving You, that's, you know, literally just the same thing as the way you make me feel, just a little bit more in depth. Like, I want to do more with you. I appreciate what we do already. And Dirty Diana is like, listen, I've been caught. I'm doing something I had no business doing, and this girl keeps having me in a way where I don't need her to have me, because I'm supposed to be doing something else, something very important. And by the end of the song, he gets more caught, and it's like, damn, like, she didn't care. And that's what it be. And it's not often you have an artist where they project the situation where they're at fault. Like, I was fucking up. And it's like, you know, he kept it real. He said, listen, this girl just messed up my whole relationship. She a bad girl, but she messed up my whole relationship. Like, I don't think I'm gonna ever have that girl again. And I can't even say that I want Dirty Diana, even though she's so bad. But it was bad to have her. And then Smooth Criminal, you know, great song. Annie, are you okay? Like, just great song. Just the music videos for Dirty Diana, Smooth Criminal, Leave Me Alone, which is, of course, the additional track, which is the last track. You know, the music videos are magical, and they really bring you out into, like, just a trance. Like, it's storytelling. Man in the Mirror, you know, showing different aspects of the world. Like, there needs to be more peace, even to this day. Like, it's been over 30 years since this album has dropped, and still there's a lot going on. And you just can't always have a blind eye to everything. After a while, it's like, you gotta get out there, you gotta do something, you gotta help. We all do, you know. But yeah, as far as the whole track list, we just went through them all. The Bad video, of course, is very legendary. Just being in the subway and just doing all different types of dance breaks, and just, he was letting people know, like, I'm getting older, but I'm still the king. God damn it, I'm good. And yes, that was just a definition that he needed to give out at a time where, you know, you can do so great, and you want people to be able to know, I'm gonna remain great. And that's what this album was about. even with him parting ways with Quincy Jones and doing Dangerous. And we'll get into Dangerous and how that transition was, and how that album is probably one of his most underrated besides Invincible. Because Dangerous, you know, people still sleep on that album. He did a lot on that album. So that's the end of our episode. I hope you loved it. I really do appreciate you and everything that you guys be able to witness with me. I really do. And I will definitely be back